October 1959, Brackettville, Texas. Two men from a bank in Del Rio walk into a small cafe to shut it down. The owner has fed veterans for free for 10 years. It made him beloved. It also made him broke. What those two men don't know is that John Wayne is sitting at the corner table, and what happens before they walk back out that door, the younger one will be embarrassed about for the rest of his career. Here is the story. In the fall of 1959, Hollywood swallows a Texas town whole. Brackettville. Population: small enough that everybody knows everybody's truck. 7 miles north of town, on a dusty ranch, John Wayne is building the Alamo. Not a set. The Alamo. Full-size adobe walls. A complete Mexican village. 1,500 extras. It is the biggest thing Texas has seen since the real one. And Wayne isn't just starring in the picture. He's directing it. His money, his name, his dream. 14 years he's been trying to make this film. Every studio said no. So he's paying for it himself, which means 16-hour days, which means decisions from sunrise to midnight, which means that some evenings, John Wayne needs to get off that set before it eats him alive. The first time it's a Tuesday. Wayne and 3 crew members drive into Brackettville looking for a meal that doesn't come out of a catering truck. They roll slow down the main street. Feed store, hardware, post office. Then Wayne sees it. A small cafe, yellow light in the windows, and taped inside the glass, a hand-painted sign. Whiteboard, red letters. The paint faded by 10 years of Texas sun. Veterans eat free, every day, no exceptions. Wayne reads it twice, then he points at the curb. We're eating here. Real quick, drop your state in the comments. I love seeing where all of you are watching from. The cafe belongs to a man named Roy Tanner, 39 years old, apron over a flannel shirt, forearms like fence posts. He came home from the Pacific in 1945, took his discharge pay, and opened this place in 1949. 8 tables, a counter with 6 stools. A cook named Lupe, who's been with him since the first morning. The chicken fried steak costs $1.40. The coffee never stops coming. And if you ever wore the uniform of the United States, your money is no good at Tanner's. That's the rule. It has always been the rule. Brackettville is the right town for a rule like that. Fort Clark sits at the edge of it, an old cavalry post closed down in '46. The soldiers left, the old men stayed. Every morning, 2 or 3 of them take the counter stools. They eat eggs, they drink coffee, they reach for wallets, and Roy waves them off without even turning around. Wayne sees all of it on that first Tuesday. He eats his stay. He listens to the room. He watches an old man in an army jacket try to leave a quarter, and he watches Roy slide it right back across the counter. Wayne doesn't say a word about it, but when he gets up to leave, he tucks a $10 bill under his plate. For a $1.40 steak. Lupe finds it clearing the table, holds it up. Roy looks at the door. The truck is already pulling away. Wayne comes back. That's the thing nobody expects. Movie people come through small towns like weather. They eat once, they leave, they tell stories about it at parties in Beverly Hills. But the next week, Wayne is back with 2 stuntmen. The week after with his prop master. 4 visits, maybe 5. He always orders the same thing. He always sits where he can see the room. And every single time, he leaves too much money. Not tip money, crazy money. A 10 under the plate, a 20 folded beneath the coffee cup. Once, after he brought half a dozen crew in for chili, there's a 50 pinned under the sugar jar like it was hiding from somebody. Roy tries to bring it up. One evening, he follows Wayne to the register, holding the bill out. Mr. Wayne, this is too much. You know it's too much. Wayne takes his hat off the hook, sets it on his head, adjusts it once. Food's worth what a man says it's worth. That's all. He's out the door. Roy stands there holding a $20 bill and a question he can't get answered. Why does the biggest movie star on earth keep overpaying for chicken fried steak in Brackettville, Texas? Keep that question in mind, because the answer comes later. And it isn't what you think. What Wayne doesn't know, What nobody in that cafe talks about is the arithmetic of the place. Here's what the sign costs. Some weeks, a quarter of the plates that leave Roy's kitchen earn nothing. Beef prices have climbed 3 years straight. The roof needed replacing in '57. The icebox died in '58. Roy borrowed from the First State Bank in Del Rio to cover both, the way every small man borrows, quietly, with his hat in his hands, certain the next year will be better. The next year was not better. By the summer of '59, Roy is 5 months behind on the note. The letters come. He stops opening them. He starts staying after close, alone at the register, running the day's receipts twice like the numbers might change if he asks them politely. Wayne notices. Of course he notices. 40 years on film sets teaches a man to read faces, and Roy's face has changed since September. The grin is still there for customers, but Wayne catches the other thing. The way Roy stands at the register after the dinner rush, very still, looking at the drawer. Wayne sees it, and he says nothing, because a man's books are his own business. You don't walk into a fellow's cafe and ask him if he's drowning. Wayne pays too much for his steak, touches his hat, and leaves. Not his business. Thursday, the 3rd week of October. Wayne comes in alone this time, no crew. They're shooting around him today, a scene he's not in. And for the first time in a month, the director of the most expensive independent picture ever made has 2 free hours. He takes the corner table, orders coffee and the steak, opens a folded shooting schedule next to his plate, and tries to make Friday work. At 1:15 noon, a black Buick parks in front of the cafe. 2 men get out. One is 50, gray suit, briefcase, the kind of face that has done this many times. The other is maybe 23, new hat, new shoes, carrying a clipboard like it's a holy text. They come through the door and the bell rings, and neither one of them looks at the menu board. The older one sets his briefcase on the counter. "Mr. Tanner, Lloyd Cobb, First State Bank of Del Rio. I believe you know why we're here." The room goes quiet. 2 old Fort Clark men at the counter set down their forks. Lupe goes still at the pass-through window. Roy wipes his hands on his apron. Slow. "I was going to call you Monday." "You were going to call me Monday in August, Mr. Tanner." Cobb doesn't say it cruel. He says it tired. He opens the briefcase and reads from a typed page, flat, like a man reading weather. Notice of default, $1,840, principal and interest. The bank takes possession of equipment and fixtures pending sale. We're authorized to begin inventory today. The young one is already moving. He uncaps a pen and starts down the counter, counting stools, tagging things with his eyes. The coffee urn, the griddle, the icebox Roy is still paying for. 8 weeks, Roy says. The picture wraps in 8 weeks. The town's full of movie people. Business is the best it's been in years. I can catch up. I just need until... You needed until 5 months ago. Cobb shuts the briefcase. I'm sorry. I say that to every man, and I mean it every time. Inventory starts now. At the corner table, John Wayne turns a page of his shooting schedule. He has heard every word. He hasn't moved. He doesn't move now. His coffee sits there going cold while the young man with the clipboard works his way down the counter, writing little numbers next to other men's lives. Then the young man reaches the window. He stops at the hand-painted sign. He taps it with his pen. This convey with the fixtures? The room actually flinches. One of the old soldiers at the counter turns halfway around on his stool. Roy's jaw goes tight, and for a second he looks like a man deciding whether his last act as a cafe owner is going to be a felony. That sign's not for sale, Roy says. It was never for sale. It's a promise to my brother. His voice cracks on the word brother. He kills the crack. He stands there. Eddie Tanner, 19 years old, Okinawa, May of 1945. Roy came home and Eddie didn't. And a year and a half later, Roy painted a board with red letters so that every man who did come home would eat like somebody owed him something. Because somebody did. The sign was never advertising. It was a debt being paid. one plate at a time, for 10 years. Cobb has the decency to look at his shoes. "Mr. Tanner, if you'll sign the surrender of property, we can—" Roy reaches for the pen, and the chair in the corner scrapes back. Nobody saw him get up. That's what they all said later. 1 second, the corner table holds a big man reading paperwork. The next second, the room has gotten smaller because John Wayne is standing in the middle of it. And a cafe only has so much space to give a man like that. He walks to the counter, boot heels on wood floor, the only sound in the building. He looks at Cobb. "How much?" Cobb blinks. "I'm sorry, sir. This is bank business, And then it lands on him, who he's talking to. You can watch it land, like a man stepping off a curb he didn't see. "Mr. Wayne, how much does Roy owe?" "All of it. Note, interest, the gas you burned driving out here?" $1,840. Wayne reaches into his coat and brings out a checkbook. He lays it flat on the counter next to the surrender papers, and he writes. Slow. No hurry in him at all. The scratch of the pen is the loudest thing in Texas. He tears the check loose and holds it out. And then it happens. The young man, the one with the clipboard, the one with the new shoes, looks at the check and looks at the legend holding it, and asks the question they will still be telling at that bank's Christmas parties 30 years from now. "Sir, are there funds behind this check?" Silence. A full second of it. 2. The old soldiers at the counter turn all the way around now. Lupe's face fills the whole pass-through window. Lloyd Cobb closes his eyes like a man asking God for patience, and when he opens them, he gives his junior a look that could strip paint off a barn. The young man's ears go red. He drops his eyes to his clipboard. The clipboard does not save him. "Wait in the car," Cobb says quietly. The young man waits in the car. Cobb takes the check with both hands. "Mr. Wayne, the bank apologizes. He's new." "Don't be hard on the boy." Wayne picks up his hat from the table. "Caution's a fine habit in a banker. Wish you'd had more of it before you wrote paper on a man who feeds soldiers." Cobb takes that one standing up because there's no other way to take it. He gathers his briefcase. At the door, he pauses, turns back, and nods once. At Roy, not at Wayne. And then the Buick pulls away from the curb, and the cafe breathes again. But Wayne isn't done. The checkbook is still on the counter. He bends over it a second time, writes a second check, tears it out and sets it down by the register, face up, where Roy can read the number. Roy reads it again. The color goes out of his face. "Mr. Wayne, no, I can't take this. This is..." "For what?" That day, Wayne's lunch cost $1.40 plus coffee. Call it $2. The check by the register is for $1,000, 500 times the price of the meal. Wayne sets his hat on his head, adjusts it once the way he does. "That one's not for the bank." He nods at the window. At the whiteboard with the red letters, hanging right where it's hung for 10 years. It's for the sign. Keep it up where men can read it. And here's the part nobody in that cafe could have known. John Wayne was stretched thinner that October than at any point in his life. The Alamo was devouring money the way fire devours dry grass. He had mortgaged his cars, his production company, by some accounts everything he had, to keep the cameras rolling. Every dollar he owned was buried in adobe walls 7 miles up the road. Hollywood was whispering that the picture would ruin him. That is the month he wrote 2 checks in a Brackettville cafe and walked out without his change. He kept coming back. Through October, through November, through the brutal final weeks of the shoot, when the days ran 18 hours and Wayne was directing battle scenes with thousands of extras and losing weight and chain-smoking through the stress of it all. Some nights he brought half the cast. Some nights he came alone, took the corner table, and ate his steak without a word. And Roy learned to leave him be. And every time, every single time, too much money under the plate. On the last visit, 2 days before the production packed up for good, Roy finally tried to end it. He met Wayne at the register and pushed the money back across the counter. "Your money's no good in here anymore, Mr. Wayne. Not after what you did. As far as I'm concerned, you eat free in this cafe till the day they bury me." Wayne looked at him a long moment. Then he nodded toward the window, toward the sign. "Sign says veterans eat free." He set the bills back on the counter, gentle, like he was laying something to rest. "I never wore the uniform, Roy, so I pay." And he touched his hat, and he walked out, and the bell over the door rang behind him. Roy Tanner stood at his register for a long time after the truck was gone. 10 years he'd wondered why a man like that kept leaving 10s and 20s and 50s under $2 plates. He had thought it was charity. It was never charity. It was the same thing the sign was, a debt being paid, one plate at a time. The cafe stayed open, the note stayed paid, and the sign stayed in that window, sun-faded and peeling, through every summer that followed. Whiteboard, red letters, no exceptions. For as long as Roy Tanner stood behind that counter. He never told the story while Wayne was alive. Wayne never told it at all. If this story reached you, do me a favor. Share it with a veteran in your life, and with anybody who still believes a promise is worth keeping. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button. There are more Duke stories coming, and unfortunately they don't make men like John Wayne anymore.